worshiper gets in the face of God and says, God, you don't have to play Santa Claus with me. I don't have to have a house. I don't need shoes on my feet. I don't necessarily have to have $1 million in my bank account. You're not a genie in a bottle, but because of who you are, I will lift my hand. Because of who you are, I'll lift my voice and say thank God. Because of who you are, I'll throw my head back and tell you glory. Here I am to declare that you're altogether lovely. You're altogether wonderful. Altogether worthy. You are the mighty God, the everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. I wish I had about 10 worshipers right here that would be honest with themselves and throw your hands up in surrender in the presence of God. You see, when the worshiper finds himself in the very face of God, he understands that something is about to occur. We serve such a just God that he doesn't only let us stand in his presence worshiping, but he's so reciprocal in nature that when a worshiper goes to worship, he responds. Look at your neighbor and ask them, can you hear the echo? The sound of worship. Can you hear the echo? Let me just pause right here and paint a picture. See, when a worshiper, a true worshiper, gets ready to be about the Father's business, he has a divine appointment meant for that worshiper, and that worshiper understands that something is about to occur. Let me just help somebody bring it to the natural for you and help you understand. On my way to worship tonight, because I work for the city of Newport News, I am on my way here, making sure that I'm here before time. Get stopped in an emergency situation that could have ended somebody's life a few blocks from here at the Down and Gross Cultural Arts Center. But because the Lord understood that a worshiper was en route, he allowed the very hand of the enemy to be sealed. You see, when a worshiper gets ready for worship, when a worshiper goes to battle, when a worshiper shows up for duty, you've got to understand that God will respond in the nick of time. He's just that kind of God where he's reciprocal in nature. He won't allow you to do more for him than he will for you. Worship, I'm telling you, isn't contained to time and place. Can you hear the echo? You've read the Bible. You know the story. This same sound was heard at the Red Sea, and the echo followed with the parting of the sea, allowing the children of Israel to cross on dry ground. The same sound was heard in the lion's den when Daniel was stuck, trapped, but understood the sound of worship. And the echo followed by making the lion a head for his pillow to lay. The same sound was heard in the fiery furnace with 3 Hebrew boys. This sound was so penetrating that the king ordered the fire to be hid 7 times higher than normal. This same sound was heard in that old fiery furnace that the king one day went in and said, I gotta take another look. And the echo followed, and he saw 4 men walking around the fire when he only threw in 3 men. Who the 4th one could have been. You see, when a worshiper gets ready to report to duty, the echo has to follow. Look at somebody on the other side of the church and say, can you hear the echo? Let me just call 2 more witnesses before we deal with the text this afternoon. Come here, Paul and Silas. What do you have to say about this matter? The same sound, the sound of worship was heard one day in the midnight hour over in that Philippian jail. You see, Brother Hugo, we were accused of disturbing the city, upsetting the custom and tradition of the day, and were jailed. But I'm reminded, Haley, that the Bible declares that in about midnight, Paul and Silas prayed and sang praises, so much so Oh, children of God, all I want you to understand and know tonight that there is a sound that is associated with worship that will cause heaven to come to your rescue. It will cause heaven to come to the scene. This sound has little to do with your song set. Hear me, worship leaders. This sound has little to do with your song set. This sound has little to do with the tempo of your song. Has little to do with your vocal ability. Has very little to do with how many rehearsals we've had. Sure, you need to be well prepared on Sunday morning or at any given moment that you're called upon to minister. But the problem in the church isn't the saints who we yell at, who we fuss with, who we pump and prime. The problem is that most of us as the leaders haven't spent much time in the presence of God. And here we are trying to usher folks into the presence. Shame on you if you spend all day long on God's grace and mercy, crawl in your bed at night without telling him thank you, without meeting God. Shame on you if you get up out of your bed in the morning and rush off to your duty without telling God I thank you for another day, Lord, without getting up early in the morning and seeking his face. Shame on you if you enjoy God's goodness and his greatness all day and have a nerve to sit down at your television without greeting God first. And you call yourself a worship leader. You call yourself the praise and worship minister. You call yourself a preacher of the gospel. Well, babies, it's time to get back to the place where we spend time with God, where we enjoy the fellowship, where we enjoy the communion, where you took us back to our first love. I just came to help somebody hear the echo tonight. We get up with this lukewarm anointing, trying to usher folk in the very presence of God. We get up with this tin towel and you spend 15 minutes trying to get your own self together while fussing at them. You see, let me just cut it up for you like I'm from the south side of Portsmouth and help you understand you can't shake it fast in images all night long. Then I'm running here Sunday morning talking about, come on, let's praise the Lord. You call yourself a worshiper, then you can't be entangled with the bondage of this world. Because baby, worship isn't contained to time and place. And the same folk you're backing it up and dropping it like it's hot are the same folk that you need to deliver with your worship. You can't be a worshiper trying to be communed with darkness. Night has no business with darkness. You hear the echo. Hallelujah. The issue is that most of us, I'm glad I got a bunch of leaders here tonight, run into the presence of God, drop off our laundry list, drop off our litany of needs, drop off our grocery list of wants, and rarely do we wait to hear the echo. Here in our text is the sound of worship. What a beautiful picture of how worship should be. The object of worship and praise, or the purpose, is to get the whole church on one accord, which provides God an atmosphere to work in. God always moves in unity. You see, when we come together on one accord, it causes God to get up off of his throne and come and see about us right here in Kingdom Empowerment Temple. It will cause God to arise from his rest.